Hello, beautiful friends. I'm Meg of megburtontudman.com, and you are in the right place if you are seeking confidence within your own skin. And today I am so excited to be here with my dear friend, Gayle Rachford. Gayle is the owner of Compassionate Concepts, and she is also a senior executive team leader with Norwex. And before we started the call, I said to Gayle, you are really my go-to expert for everything non-toxic and natural. So anytime I have a question about what can I swap out or how can I do this differently, Gayle is my go-to resource. So I am so honored and so happy to have her here with us today. Gayle, welcome, and thank you for being here.
Meg, thank you so much for the invitation to talk with you this morning.
Oh,
I
it's
love
my
seeing
pleasure.
you in the morning.
I know, it's nice. So tell us a little bit more about yourself. Tell us what you're known for, aside from
Sure.
my view of you about being an expert in all things natural.
Honestly, in my circle of friends, I'm probably just most known for speaking my mind.
Yeah, oh, I love that though.
Truly, if people see me, and I've actually asked this question because sometimes it's hard for us to judge how we're seen by others.
Yeah,
the view is different, right, outside the
always.
mirror.
Yeah.
And this has come up in a number of wellness retreats and dinners and things like that. So it's a conversation we've had before. But my friends tend to say that they see me as an advocate, as someone who has an opinion.
Yeah.
I'm really not the person to invite to dinner who's just going to go, No.
Oh, no.
If you want a polite dinner conversation, I'm not your woman. But at the same time, I do have an opinion on a lot of things because I've read a lot, I've studied a lot, and I've had the good fortune of actually being a teacher through my professional life.
Right.
And I've taught a lot of classes. So with that in mind, I do speak my mind about things, particularly if they involve justice or a cause or something I feel that we as people can do something about.
Yes, absolutely. I love that so much. It's so empowering. So for you, and given your unique background, what does confidence in your own skin mean for you?
What's really interesting is there aren't very many times where I just don't feel a very confident sense of myself.
Yeah.
I tend to walk around feeling like I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, I love that though. That's great.
Even if it's a sheer illusion.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And so I tend to look forward when I'm doing something, when I'm going somewhere. I really like to approach every situation like, geez, let's see what's going to happen here.
I love that though. It's a mindset.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Quite frankly, if you want to feel really confident everywhere you go, just be curious about other people and don't worry about yourself.
Yes. Get out of your
Because
own head.
that's ultimately what confidence is. It's the absence of self-doubt. So if we're not thinking about ourselves and we're thinking about others and where we're going and feeling curious, like I tend to be curious even about like the building I'm walking into. Like, oh, look at this door. This is crazy. Who designed this?
Right.
Why is this one locked all the time?
Why can't I get in?
Who is this? Is someone safe because of this?
It's such a different approach though, to say, I'm going to approach this with curiosity, even if I have no idea what I'm doing, at least I'm interested in it.
Yes.
Instead of being so wrapped up, oh, what are they thinking? Oh, what about this? Oh, we just like snowball the other way. Yeah.
It's a very natural, it's part of the human brain to do that.
Mm-hmm.
It's called filling in the gaps, right? Our brain fills in silence gaps.
Right.
So if you have an awareness about that, you can overcome the self-doubt that's generated through our own imaginations and our own assumptions just by putting your intention and your focus on walking into a situation with curiosity.
Right. I love that. That's really powerful. I like the curiosity piece. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think, did you come by that naturally, or is that more of a learned behavior?
No. I'm like listening to my podcasts, right, and I'm reading my books. No.
Yeah.
Self-taught. I mean, truly. Okay, so a little bit of a backstory.
Yeah.
I broke my leg terribly in the year 2011.
Okay.
2010, 2011. It's a little bit blurry, but I think it was like 2010 or 2011.
Yeah.
To the point where if this injury had happened even 10 years earlier, I could have lost my foot. Like my leg was shattered.
Oh my God.
And it took me 6 months on the sofa just to be like weight bearing again.
Mm-hmm.
And in that time, I did a lot of reading.
Yeah.
You know, I thought to myself, if I'm going to be on this couch, I'm going to learn a few things.
Right.
So I did a lot of introspective reading. I've never been a big fiction reader. I've always been a nonfiction reader, but most of my education has been about history, politics, government, and the like. And I felt like religion was a little bit lacking, and I needed to know a little bit more in that area. So I started reading books by the Dalai Lama.
Yeah.
And I thought, wow, this makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
And when I read this, I feel good.
Yeah.
And it prompted me to do a lot of introspection, self-discovery, awareness training. And once I recovered, I started practicing yoga, mm-hmm. which helped align my body, the openness of the body, right, with the openness of the mind.
Right.
And having those things coupled together changed my life.
It is life-changing, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes.
I love that connection too. I mean, as a yoga instructor, obviously you're like preaching to the choir. And I totally get it. But that idea of aligning the body so that it can be more open. And then making that connection between the mind and the body as a space to let everything be a little less tight, like a little less, chatter when you talk about the moments of stillness or silence that we're trying to fill. That's a way to extend those moments and let them actually be moments of quiet or stillness. Right. Yeah. Oh, I love that.
I didn't even realize, like before yoga, I didn't even realize that I really wasn't breathing.
No, nobody does.
And when my attention was called to that process, I thought, I've been missing out on a lot of oxygen. I gotta fill my cup.
I'm still amazed at the power of a breath. One breath. Yes. And what a difference that can make. It seems too easy.
We have everything we need right here.
Totally.
We have everything that we need. We don't need to actually go searching for anything. We just need to wake up.
Right.
The things that we already have in our natural toolbox, which are all right here and all around us.
Yeah.
So yeah, the breath is the life, right?
Key. Yeah, totally key. It's our life force. Yeah.
Did I answer your question? What was the original question again? I know this is organic, but
I don't even remember. I think you did though.
It was about like I think the original question was, did I have like an innate awareness of this?
Yeah.
Well, interestingly, the answer to that is yes. As humans, it is part of our innate nature.
Yeah.
We get distracted because of the chatter, the noise that's around us. Yes. And if we were living in our natural environments the way that primal people did, we would be much more in tune with ourselves. Yeah. So I just had to get back in touch with my own humanity.
Yeah, with who you are at your core.
Yeah.
And it's amazing, I think, when you do allow yourself the time and the space, and you were kind of pushed into it, 6 months on the couch, you're not doing much else. But if we allow it, to your point, everything we need is already within us. It's just a matter of maybe realigning, reopening, maybe reframing a few things, but it's all right there for sure.
Agree.
Yeah. Yeah. So how does Compassionate Concepts and Norwex fit into all of that, the being aware, the creating that environment, the tuning back in to how we can really heal and live our truth. And at the same time, how does it fit into, living authentically, which I feel like is just a further step in what you're already talking about. And also feeling confident and getting rid of some of that doubt. How do you see those all fitting together?
I really do think that it's important for people to take a quarterly self-assessment.
Yeah.
And ask ourselves, because we're all one, right? We're all one. We need to ask ourselves, how are things going?
Right. Yeah.
Are things going well?
Right. What's happening
right?
here?
Yeah. Do a little check-in. Look at your bank account. How much money is in it? Look at your calendar. Are things, clanging into each other? Look at your refrigerator. Look at your car. The inside of your car can tell you a lot, right?
Yeah.
Look at the pictures on your phone. If you want a little record of what you're thinking about, just go through your picture gallery on your phone.
Yep.
And if you like what you see, great. If you're like, what is all this junk? That's a flag like, hey, you got junk going on in your life.
You've got junk going on.
How did this get in my fridge?
Right.
Right. So with that in mind, one of the things that I found about midway through my teaching career is that I was very unhappy. I was unhappy with the way that the institution I was working within was evolving.
Yeah.
I was unhappy with the politics around education itself. I was unhappy with some of the internal things that were going on in the school that I was at. And I was also very unhappy with the state of my students. And I was unhappy with myself. Mm-hmm. So I was offered a terrific opportunity to leave teaching.
Rare. It's rare.
By my husband. So my husband was my teaching partner for almost my entire career. And I was his teaching partner for half of his.
Okay.
And we taught across the hall from each other, planned our lessons together, designed our materials together. And it was his time to retire. And he said, hey, why don't you come with me? Okay. Wait,
there.
Hold on. Twist my arm, right? So we made a plan. We started planning a couple of years out.
Okay.
We made a plan that we would downsize our life financially so that we could afford to live on a pension, one pension. We read Marie Kondo's book, Spark Joy, right? Yeah. And we started learning about minimalism. Mm-hmm. Studying non-attachment really helped. Yeah. In my last year of teaching, I taught a course on Eastern religions and got a lot of philosophy under my belt. Right. And all of those things culminated in us parting with 2/3 of our possessions, including our vehicles. Moving. We didn't move far. We only moved like 1.5 miles away. But basically, it helped us cultivate the courage necessary to go against the grain. Right. Like when we told our parents that we were going to leave our careers, they were like, "You're going to what?" I'm sorry, what? And my dad actually said the words to me. He said, well, how, like, explain this to me. And so I told him our plan. He said, Gayle, how will people know that you're successful if you
Wow.
do
Yeah.
this?
What a
And I was
question.
like, whoa. But you know what? I immediately, it just rolled right off my tongue. I said, Dad, I am not defined by my possessions.
Yeah. We're
That
ready.
my possessions do not determine my value
Right.
as a person.
Right.
And he stopped asking me questions. It's funny now because now it's 2018. We did this in 2015.
Okay.
And now, like, my parents will come and visit us, and my dad's like, I read this book on minimalism. You guys should read it. I'm like, hello.
It's funny how
Amnesia.
people come around. Yeah.
They come around. Now that it's his idea, it's a great idea.
Right. Well, that happens.
Yeah. So we decided that we would run a business out of our house. We were economics teachers primarily, and we wanted to know if all the lessons that we had been teaching all these years were true.
Is this legit?
So, yeah. So we started a business. We named it Compassionate Concepts.
Mm-hmm.
And we decided to align our company with another company called Norwex,
Mm-hmm.
which had a mission and vision that was in the same box or heart space as we were.
Yeah.
Okay. So Norwex's core values are integrity, trust, and respect. And their mission is to radically reduce chemicals in people's homes.
Right.
And I'm a bit of a campaigner. So what that means is I am very happy to jump on a mission where I feel like I can make a personal difference, particularly one household or one person at a time.
Right.
So we we joined Norwex as consultants through our business. And I'm the face of the business, and my husband, Colin, is the administrator of the business. So he handles the paperwork and the taxes and the email, things like that. I handle the communication, the sales, the recruiting, and the people side of the business.
I love it.
So it made sense for us to align with this company and help people make better choices about the items that they purchase and consume.
Right. What's the biggest change or shift that you've noticed in, not only obviously overhauling kind of any kind of toxin or toxic material or product that was in your house, but also along with the minimalism shift? What's the biggest change that you've noticed for you?
Daily joy.
Really?
Yeah.
That's wild. Yeah.
It's human. It's how everybody should be living.
Yeah.
I feel joyful every day.
Oh,
every day.
Oh, that warms my heart so much.
I do. I really do. Don't get me wrong. We're living on a rock spinning through space in the universe. Like, things are not perfect. Stuff happens. But I feel like accepting of stuff happening instead of trying to be upset about it. You see what I'm saying?
Yes. Yeah.
And don't get me wrong. Like, I cry, like, I get sad about things, but I don't, I don't feel that, that's a permanent state.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to feel sad even for more than a few minutes at a time.
Right.
Right.
Do you think that you had to do, you and Colin did a pretty big overhaul. You moved, you got rid of 2/3 of your things, you changed your vehicle situation, you left your jobs, like lots of new things. Do you think that you needed that significant of an overhaul to get to that place where you can sit here today and say, I feel joy every day?
I don't think that we sat down at any point and said, we need a change.
Right.
Instead, what we said is, this is the direction we want to go. How do we get there?
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense. And
there's it's a difference. I know sometimes people are having trouble and they're like, I got to shake some things up.
Right.
I think that you can do just a few things to make major changes in your life.
Yeah, I would agree.
Just starting with like how we talk to ourselves.
Yes.
It doesn't cost any money.
It's free.
And a lot of people feel like a sense of antsiness, unease,
yes.
restlessness. And so they do things like have a baby, build a house, get a divorce, move out of state. Like they make drastic changes to try and fill that need for momentum.
Yeah.
I think personally, if everything is kind of okay in your life and you're just feeling restless, you might just need some time on the cushion, just like like meditation, which is free, easy.
Right. Yeah.
You don't have to flip your life upside down. But we, Colin and I have a shared vision. That's our marriage motto. Mm-hmm. If you don't have a family motto, just get one, talk to your family.
I love
People
that.
in the Middle East did that. That's what a crest is.
Right.
A crest is the visual representation of a family motto.
I love it.
Okay. So we have a family motto.
Yeah.
And it's our shared vision.
Yep.
And so we check in with each other and we say, are things going well? Is this the direction? Are we doing the things that we want in order to move in the direction we want? Mm-hmm. And if our vision changes, then we make shifts in our thinking and in our daily habits.
Right.
Yeah.
I love that. And I love the idea of, embracing change and experimenting with new things from the standpoint of I'm working towards a very particular vision or mission or, there's a purpose. You essentially have determined your why. I think so often we'll try to make a change and it'll be like, oh, I read something. Yes. I remember your why. Yes. Yeah.
I'm a Post-it note girl myself.
Yes.
These are all over my house.
I love it.
Yeah.
But we take somebody else's perspective or somebody else's truth and say, oh, I'm going to do this because an expert told me. Whereas it's so much easier to stick with it. And I think to make it, make change in the beginning anyway, if you know why you're doing it, if there's a purpose, a why behind it. So I love that. And I have to think that made it all a little bit less scary and more enjoyable. It's like, oh, we're doing this for a reason. It may be a big deal. We may be making big shifts, but we're excited because this is what we're working towards. And so the sadness or the fears that crop up are more easily managed.
It's kind of funny. I don't remember feeling afraid.
Yeah.
At all. I remember feeling a little sadness over attachment to our house.
Okay.
I was a little sad because attachment causes it causes suffering.
Yeah.
So if you're suffering over something, it's probably because you're attached to an object or an idea or a person, right?
Right.
And the house that we lived in, it was very special to us. And to release it, to let it go in order to fulfill our vision did create a little sadness, but I mean, it's okay. It's a house and the world is full of them.
Yeah. Do you remember what you did specifically to work through that, to release the attachment?
A lot of self-talk. I try very intentionally not to fill my life with a lot of distractions. So for example, we don't watch TV. Mm-hmm. We don't listen to a lot of radio. Mm-hmm. The things that we listen to are typically intentional.
Right.
So talking with my husband through this was very helpful. Talking to myself.
Yeah.
Is very helpful. Always reminding yourself about the reality of things.
Right.
And the reality of things are, we're doing this for a reason. This is the reason.
Right.
This is necessary to achieve this outcome.
Right.
This is why we're doing this. It is okay. You see what I'm saying? Like, ultimately, a house is a box.
Right.
That we fill with things.
Right.
It's nothing but a dollhouse, guys.
It's true.
You can always create a new home.
Right. That's the key, I think. Yeah.
Because what you bring to it is what it becomes.
Right.
So now I look around our house and I'm like, I love it here. This is great.
Yeah.
I'm so glad we live here.
Yeah.
What we say matters.
Totally.
And what we think about, we bring about. So if you want to have a positive result on something, you got to be thinking about it, right? Like, here's another one of my post-it notes.
Yeah. Everything is coming together this month. Yes.
Everything's coming together this month.
Yep.
It's going to be okay.
Yeah.
All right. Don't worry, be happy. It's not just a song.
No, it's not.
You have to practice happiness.
Yeah.
So.
You do. Because I think the opposite is habit. We get stuck in these kind of just habitual actions, habitual thoughts, and we don't even realize part of the time, if we're not tuned in, that we're doing it or thinking it, and that creates our reality. I mean,
there's a lot of there's a lot of synergy in the body. So, for example, if you're having a lot of negative thoughts,
right,
you can check in with a few things. One, how are you eating? Are you eating a lot of sugar?
Yeah.
Are you downing a lot of caffeine? Are you eating a lot of processed food? Because if you want to be unhappy, that's your recipe right there.
Yeah. True.
Because your mind matches how the body is feeling.
Yep.
So if your body is kind of screaming at you, it can manifest as thought.
Right.
And if you check in with your thoughts and you're like, holy cow, like, it seems like I'm not trusting people. I'm going around mad about everything. Everything seems like somebody else's fault. Check in with what you're putting in your body. Your body might be saying to you, hey, you need some more water. You might want to stop drinking all that diet soda. Hey, when was the last time you had some greens?
Bring that kale back.
Yeah, so if you want to feel better, you got to check in with what's going in, and then also check in with what's going in here and here.
Yeah.
Because what we think about, we bring about.
Right.
And if we're thinking about crisis and tragedy and horror and ridiculous, utter terror, that is what we will project out. And that's what our reticular activating system will be in tune with, and we'll see it everywhere.
Right.
So curating your daily experience is very important.
Yeah.
If you want to live a joyful life.
I absolutely agree. Yes.
Yeah.
So speaking of curating your daily experience, that was a perfect segue. What is your morning routine? Do you have a habit each morning? I know you do. Or maybe not. No?
I do. But you know what? I'm more interested in my nightly routine.
Okay. Yeah.
So every night, my husband and I, we live, for anybody who's watching this outside of the upstate New York area, we live in a kind of a cold area for a lot of the year. So even like last night, we had a fire going, even though it's April 18th, right?
Right.
So we sit by the fire, might have a cup of tea or a glass of wine, and we talk to each other. We have dimmers on all of our lights.
Yep.
We don't really use a lot of overhead lighting.
Yeah.
We illuminate our house with lamps, which is very helpful. By the way, if you want to kind of cut down on the that like headspace energy, turn off your overhead lights and use lampshades and put the light a little lower so it's in your heart area.
Oh, I love that.
And so anyway, we talk to each other. We talk about the day. We check in with each other.
Mm-hmm.
I do a lot of coochie cooing with my cat Toddley. I kind of, talk to my daughter. Is your homework done? Do some mom stuff.
Right.
And then we do one of two things. Either one, I take an Epsom salt bath, which is vital. If you don't live by the ocean, in my opinion, as a human, you should be taking an Epsom salt bath at least 3 times a week. Mm-hmm. Everyone has time for this. It's just whether or not you draw the bath and put the salt in, or we get ready for bed. I do a lot of home parties, and I am always surprised by the number of people who do not wash up before bed. So it's actually very important to wash up before bed. Right. And that's because our hair is a filter. Okay. Right. So you want to get all that out before you go to bed. Right. And sleep. You don't want to sleep with all the debris from the day in your hair falling into your pillow. You don't want to sleep with all the debris. Yeah. You want to like wash your face, have a clean face. And then I actually lay down for about a half an hour on an acupressure mat. Yeah. Meg, we've talked about this.
They're wild, aren't they? The first time, my husband is big on the acupressure mat, and he's like, this is amazing. I'm having the best night's sleep ever. And I said, well, let me try. I'm like, I'm always game to try something new. I laid down and immediately bounced back up. And I thought, that feels like someone is stabbing me with a million super sharp needles in the worst way possible. I said, this is awful. And he said, well, you have to give it a minute. You have to like breathe through it, like call on your yoga skills, call on your meditation skills, and just wait. And I did. I got to a place. It took a while. I mean, it was not instant, but it's amazing. They're phenomenal.
First day, Meg.
Yeah.
There's a first day for everything.
Totally.
Yeah. Sometimes my legs, I'll have like a reflex response. Like sometimes my legs will kick or my head will twitch. You got to let all that go. That's the body's way of getting rid of the trash.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
So I lay on an acupressure mat and an acupressure pillow. Mm-hmm. It wasn't until I started doing that I understood the yogis in India who do the bed of nails.
Bed of nails. Yes.
I didn't get that. Even when I was teaching the class about it, I'm like, why, how do they do that? And then when I started doing the acupressure mat, I was like, oh, right. I get it.
Yes.
Okay. So I do that every night. And I also put on essential oils every night to help me just relax and have like a sensory experience.
Right.
And I really am pretty habitual about that.
Good.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah.
I do that.
That sets you up for a great night's sleep. And then a great day the next day, I think.
What a lot of people do when they go to sleep is they think about all the things that they didn't do during the day.
Right.
They think about all the things they have to do tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
They think about their unrealistic to-do list and their imaginary worry list.
Yep.
I don't do that.
Yeah. You can't get a good night's sleep with that. I love a shower at the end of the day for the reasons you talked about, of course, but also as more like mental and emotional, I am literally washing the day away. It's over.
Yes.
Let it all go and, do my nightly routine and then start fresh the next day. Yeah.
Yep.
Write down whatever's still kicking around in your head and then be done with it.
Let it go.
Yes. Yeah. Gayle, I feel like there are a million awesome like tools and strategies that someone watching this video can pull from and test and see how it works for them. What do you think, like, what's your number one? This is, this made an amazing difference for me. I will, for the foreseeable future, never let this go. It's so important. I make a priority to do it regularly. What do you think has had the biggest impact for you?
Taking ownership of what we think about.
Yes. Yeah.
Just accept that you have control over what you think about.
Right.
We're designed as humans. We are blessed with awareness.
Right.
And what we think about, we do bring about.
Mm-hmm.
And coming to a place of acceptance on that,
mm-hmm.
and then practicing what you think about is free, is necessary, will create joy, balance, and stability in your life.
I absolutely agree. That's perfect. What you think about, you bring about. Yeah.
Yes.
I love that. And it's so empowering too, right? To know that there's something that we can all do. What's this one? If I can see it in my mind, I can hold it in my hand. Yes. Without a doubt. Yeah.
I have, like I said, I have these all over the house.
Yeah.
So the day is going to bring all kinds of things at you. Mm-hmm. Like we're subjected to gravity. There is a force that pulls on us. Yeah. It's part of this world. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So once we accept that, and I'm speaking a little bit in a metaphor, but in real terms, right? Right. Accept that there are forces that pull on us. Right. But we also have consciousness which lifts us up. Right. And so the humanity comes in between. Mm-hmm. That makes sense? Yes. It does. So like tuning into that and taking responsibility for it. And what I mean by that is just saying to ourselves, I am a person and I have the capability to be intentional every day. Right. Every second. So every moment is a new choice. Right. And sometimes if I find that I'm getting myself into like a thought spiral that's not helpful, it's not moving me forward. Right. And I'm very fortunate, my husband and I practice this together. So having people in your house on board is a good thing. My daughter is she's our heckler.
There's one in every
That's so weird. But I hear her with her friends, and I hear her saying things like, you could really change your mind about that. And I'm like, oh, she gets it. She gets it. So being intentional and not giving up on yourself. Right. Like if things aren't going your way, number one, sit down. Right. If things are not going your way in your day, no matter where you are, take a seat. Sit down. Take a minute. Stop. Yes. Stop what you are doing. Stop what you are thinking. Stop what you are saying. And check in. And just say, is this moving me forward? Right. Am I adding something good to everything and everyone else at this moment? Right. Whew. Right. Shake that off.
Sorry about that, friends.
Exactly. And then, start that self-talk into, at this moment, I'm sitting down. I have air. I'm alive. Start with the basics. Right. And build from there.
Basics. Right.
The gratitude basics. This is a miracle. Yeah. Everything we're experiencing, it is a miracle. I mean, it really is. Right. So just kind of like appreciate that for a minute. Think about all the things that aren't going wrong. Right. Especially like traffic is such a good example of this, Meg. Right? Yeah. You might be mad at one driver. Look at the 10,000 drivers who are not having any problems at all.
Right. Yeah. It's what you focus on.
Yeah.
And it's not, I think.
So just apply that.
Yeah. And I don't think it's ignoring or being like, I don't know, oblivious to things that are going on that maybe aren't so great. It's more, yes, I see those things. Yes, I recognize that. And I'm making a choice to instead focus on this, or I'm making a choice to see like the flip side of, we'll use traffic. So that's such an easy one. Oh, I'm stuck in traffic. I can, honk my horn, beat my steering wheel, flick everybody off, right? Or I can say, oh, awesome, I got 15 more minutes to listen to my favorite podcast. Or I can, call my friend Gayle and chat on the phone while I'm stuck here. Like there's always another way to look at it. And it's, I think to your point, it's the awareness piece. Can you start to train yourself and practice being self-aware to say, whoa, this thought track is not serving me. This isn't what I want to feel. And I'm in charge of it.
And you know what? The answer is, I should say the question isn't, can you? The question is, you can.
Yes. Will you?
You can train yourself. And if you're living in a space where you're upset about really big things, take action in your household first.
Yeah.
So for example, I am a maniac about plastic pollution. Oh my gosh. Plastic is the bane of our existence on this planet. Plastic is a problem.
Yeah,
okay.
It is.
I am not going to fly to the Pacific Gyre in a plane or get on a Navy boat to go out there and start picking up trash that is swirling in a circle 2 times the area of the state of Texas.
Oh, God. Yeah.
You know what I will do? If I see a piece of litter, I'm picking it up.
Right.
Because why not me?
Right.
I can't be upset about plastic pollution and not pick up the plastic that's in front of me.
Right.
Right? Because that object is going to end up in the ocean.
Right.
So I am picking it up right now.
Right.
And I'm putting it in a recycle bin or a trash can right now.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if you're a person who sees big problems in the world, okay, narrow it down to what is in front of you.
Right. And how can you make an impact? Yeah.
Right there. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Take your power back, right? So often we give it away and it's not necessary at all. There is always something we can do. There's always a different thought that we can engage with. Yeah. We're so powerful, like beyond measure. We're powerful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So tell us what is next for you and your business. What's on the horizon for you?
The next piece to really build in our business is the team.
Yeah.
We already have a pretty substantial team. We have about 170 consultants on our team. I would like to see that at 170,000 consultants.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So it really is the piece about helping people understand what we do and inviting them to come along and do what we do.
Right. Join our vision.
Join our vision. Yeah. Participate.
Yeah.
Participate in something amazing that will really benefit not only your own household, but the planet we live on.
Yes.
Forget Mars. Okay. Like enough about Mars.
Let's take care of this one first.
Good grief.
If our friends watching want to find you, and I'll put this in the description as well, but what's the best way for them to get in touch or to find out more about you?
Anybody can friend me on Facebook.
Okay.
Gayle Rachford is my name on Facebook. If you want to read about what I think, because, Facebook really is a highlight reel, and based on your own Facebook activity, you won't necessarily see everything that any individual posts. Facebook shows you what it wants you to see.
Right.
So even though you can find me on Facebook very easily, my blog is probably a better place to connect if you want to know what I think.
Yes.
And so that's www.gayle, www.compassionateconcepts.com.
Okay, perfect.
And from there you can see my business website, what Norwex is all about. You can join us. You can read our articles. But you can definitely find me on Facebook, on Pinterest, on Instagram. I'm not terribly active on Twitter, although I am on Twitter.
Okay.
But blog is probably the best place to find out, like, what is this lady thinking about?
Perfect. I'll include all your handles and also the compassionateconcepts.com website in the description for this video. Anything else you want to share before we wrap?
You know what? I would say this. Daily practice is important.
Mm-hmm.
And the world is filled with distractions.
Yes.
So having an awareness that, it's not like a diet where, you fall off the wagon.
Right.
We have a mind and different things come up in our minds all the time. Mm-hmm. What's really important is to talk to yourself and say, is this thought moving me forward? And really quickly, as a daily practice, one of the things I do is I set alarms on my phone.
Yes.
I shouldn't really call them alarms. They're chimes.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, let me see if I can show you. So for example, do you see this little guy here? Pardon me.
Stop for a second.
Yeah. This guy right here, this is my morning alarm to get up.
Yep.
The name of it is not alarm. The name of it is Arise Joyfully.
Oh, I love that.
So your phone sends you little messages. And if the first thing you see in the morning is alarm, guess what? You've just set an intention for the day to be alarmed.
Yeah.
Right.
And you've kicked your nervous system.
Language.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
You've kicked your nervous system into high gear. What do I need to be alarmed about? I'm waking up with a start instead of arising joyfully. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have these so for example, at 9:45 every morning, this chime goes off. And what comes up on my screen is the phrase, I am deliberate. I have another one around lunchtime that says, I am kind. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah.
Because just setting those little chimes, and don't make it like,
something.
You want it to be like, ding, ding, ding. Right. Oh, look at that. I am kind. We manifest what it is that we're looking at.
Yeah.
So if you want to attract more of something in your life,
right,
put it on your phone and remind yourself every day. Do your I am statement, just like you recommend.
Yes. Yeah.
I am.
Yep. Kind. Yeah. I think it's in a way, in as many different places as you can, you flood yourself with what you're looking for. So my phone's going to go off regularly all day, and it's going to be all with good intentions. And I've got sticky notes all over the house so that everywhere I'm going, I'm, bombarded essentially in a really positive way with the messages that I want to take in, to try to crowd out, to your point, all the distractions. Because there's always going to be a reason not to do something. So let's make it as easy as we can for us to do it. Remind yourself throughout the day. Yeah,
I would say one more thing as well, and that is have control over your calendar.
Yes.
Be willing to say yes and no, to things that you want to say yes and no to.
Right. And they're equally important, right? The yes and the no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
say no.
So for example, this is what my calendar looks like.
Yeah.
I use a paper calendar so you can see everything coming up, which reduces anxiety.
Yep.
And then I color code things for different meetings. And I also intentionally try to plan only one thing a day. So for example, this interview,
right,
this is my activity today.
Right.
This is my obligation today that I am doing. I don't have 5 appointments set up on this day. I'm not like,
right. Gotta go. My next interview's waiting.
Right. And some people will say, well, Gayle, I just can't do that. And my attitude is, yes, you can. You just have to be willing to say no to things that really don't need your participation. Right. Yes to things that do. Yep. And also be willing to spread things out so that you are not spread thin.
Yeah.
You don't want to spread yourself thin. You want to spread your calendar.
Calendar thin. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think too, what that allows you to do, even if you do happen to have a day where it's back to back, you know, if you haven't been able to say no, be present with what you're doing at that time. So you've got your interview, you know, you're booked for an hour. Okay, this is all I'm going to focus on at this time, instead of letting my mind run and, you know, trying to multitask and do 10 different things at once.
Yes. Be honest with yourself about time.
Right.
Like, how long does it really take to get someplace?
Yeah.
Including getting in and out of the car, in and out of the building, in and out of your change of clothes. Like, be honest about I can get there in 36 minutes, but is that realistic?
Right. Do I get there and I'm even more like stressed and wound up than I was before? Yeah. Yep. I love that so much. And give yourself time too, to your point earlier in our chat, to be curious, you know, can I give myself an extra second to actually take in like the door that I'm walking through in this building? Because I think that helps. I think it makes a big difference.
It does. I probably seem a little flaky when I'm walking into any space because I'm like this. I'm like a child. Like, wow. How did they get all this in here? This is amazing. You know, like I really think about where I am.
Right. You're present.
And like who built it and what were they thinking when they put it together? And it helps to be present.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yes. I love that so much. I love your curiosity. Thank you so much, Gayle. I love all of the tips. I'm going to pull them all together for our friends watching, and they'll be in the description, but this is phenomenal and so powerful. I think the small things that we can do, along with, if people are inspired by your story, some of the bigger things that we can do too, that can really just totally change how we experience each day and bring more of that joy into every moment. I love that so much. Thank you, my dear friend.
Oh, thank you, Meg. I'm so glad that we know each other. Thank you so much for the invitation.
Oh, thanks for being here.